Who am I? Your boy Cain in this mother. You know what I'm saying? Coming to you live from East Oakland, California, my home. And what we getting ready to do today is get into my new show, Cain's Kitchen. Because y'all ain't never seen no shit like this before. Yeah, man, we just made it to this motherfucking grocery store. We finna go in here and go get these ingredients for this meal we finna cook. Yeah, gotta get this half a gallon of milk. Keep it creamy like pussy. Got hella registers and 3 lines open in this motherfucker. Yeah, we done made it back from the stove here back at Cain's Kitchen. And what we getting ready to do is turn up all the way. You know what I'm saying? We getting ready to cook some of these fresh green beans, and then we gonna make these garlic mashed potatoes topped with bacon and cheddar. You know what I'm saying? And then we gonna make some of my spicy turned up wings, and then we gonna make my real famous Cain's Mary Jane's lemon pepper wings. What's happening? Ingredients. White Zinfandel first. Fresh chicken wings. Fresh green beans. Even though it's only 1 stick of butter right here, you're gonna need 2.5. And not that fake shit y'all be using. Fresh chopped onions and bell peppers, red and green. You're gonna need some lemon pepper and your seasoning of choice. I choose to use Lawry's and garlic salt. Then you're gonna need most definitely some of that chicken bouillon for them green beans. And then I need the cheddar and bacon to top off those garlic mashed potatoes. And last but not least, your Mary Jane to make your butter. Now first what you want to do is get your 2 sticks of fresh butter in the pot and cut your pan down on low, because you want to melt the butter. You don't want it to evaporate. So now once your butter is liquefied, you can pour your Mary Jane in. Now for my 2 sticks of butter, I used 1/4 ounce of weed. That should be enough to get it nice and buzzing. Now what you want to do is let that simmer for about 20 to 25 minutes. And now what we're getting ready to do is take your seasoning of choice and season up those fresh chicken wings. This is about 20 wings right here. So I used about 2 tablespoons of seasoning. Now we got our fresh green beans in the pot. You can't forget about that chicken bouillon I told you about. Not too much, you know what I'm saying? And you can't forget about them fresh chopped onions and them red, green bell peppers. Now we're gonna add our water, just enough to cover the top, that we let our butter cool off 5 minutes. Now we're ready to pour it into our container. Now that we done strained our weed butter into our container of choice, we're gonna put a top on it and put it in the freezer for about 15 minutes until it gets hard again. Yeah. Now we got our grease on the stove, waiting to fry this chicken. But for right now, we gonna top these garlic mashed potatoes with this cheddar and this bacon that I was talking about. This real hood shit right here. Now look. That's to see if your grease is hot. It's ready. Now what we doing is we cooking these wings with no flour. Now, you got enough pieces of chicken in there. Now what we gonna do is we gonna let that get nice and golden brown and crisp.
How did you just touch hot, sizzling grease?
Well shit, I does this shit, man. You know? We don't want no soggy chicken now. You know? We ain't going to, I don't know, whatever one of them chicken spots you go to and your wings be crispy all on the outside, but the inside don't be done and shit. Be all still wet. When you bite into it, you gotta snap it apart. Nah, that ain't the deal with Cains chicken. It's nice and crispy, still juicy when you bite into it. I'm telling you wanna try it. Now we done made it towards the end of the show. You can't forget that ghetto juice. You know what I'm saying? We gotta keep it flavor flaved. But other than that, I want y'all to get some tips from the OG Book of Tips.
Ain't nobody ever done this before, and ain't nobody ever gonna do this again. It's tips, man, fingertips. Recognize and realize. You're gonna get tired of hearing it because it's all about me, TIP, and not you. Don't be jealous, don't be a hater, just recognize and be a congratulator because I'm doing things nobody else has ever done. I'm putting the tips on everything. Yes, these here things here, these tips, I'm gonna take them a long way. And if you get mad or get in the way, I'll put tips on you. That's what I'm talking about. It's town business. Nope, not TI, not tip, not Q-tip, but fingertips. Tipping all over the world. Tippity tip, tip, tip. Tips like this. You're gonna have a drink, you want some tips? Got some Long Island iced tips for you. Some tip-keelers. Tips on the beach. I got a book of tips for you. 100 tips. Tell you how you want to be like me. Tips. T-I-P. Fingertips. Get a bar of them. This is the authenticity of these things that I'm doing. You say you make beats. I make beats literally. Tips, beats for you. Tip, 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 tip. Tip, tips, tip, tip, tips. Tip, tip, tips, tip, tip. Tips, tip, tip, tips, tip, tips, tip, 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 tippy, tippy, tip, 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 tips, tip, tip. Tip, tips, tip, got a couple more 100 tips to go. These tips never end, man. It's tips for tat. And around holidays, get ready for tips. Old St. Tips, Tips Kringle, and have a Merry Tipsmas. On Halloween, I guess we'll have tips or treats. Tips, tip, 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 tips, tip, tip. Tip, tips, tips, tips. Pretty tippy. Tip, tip, tips. It's all about the tips. It's all about me, TIP. Get tipsy with me. You want to get tipsy with me? So Long Island iced tips. Tipnotic, tequila, and tips on the beach. How about a tips and Coke? You feel me? Put the tips with it. If you want something to eat, I got tips. I got beef rib tips. You feel me? I got tips and chips, wing tips, tips ahoys. It's tips going down in the town, man. You better recognize. Ain't nobody ever done this before, and ain't nobody ever gonna do this again. It's tips, man. Fingertips. Recognize and realize.
Yeah, like I said, we gotta make that juice. You know what I'm saying? But what you wanna do is, you wanna use 3 packs of Kool-Aid, not 2. Now, What I have here in this pitcher is just a little bit of warm water at the bottom of the jug, and that helps dissolve a little bit better in the water. Now you want to kind of whip that shit. I just took my weed butter out of the freezer. It's not solid yet, but it's still saucy, so that's good to spread it over the wings. The lemon pepper seasoning over there, sprinkle a little bit on there. Sprinkle here, sprinkle there, tinkle there. Now the wings are still hot. So your best bet is to have a container with a top. Now that should be enough. We're gonna add just a little bit more, just to see how that goes. Put the top on it. Cannabis lemon pepper wings, or as I like to call them, Cains Mary Jane's lemon pepper wings. Now, in order to have your spicy Cains turned up wings, you need your Louisiana spicy seafood sauce if you want it proper. Ew. You want to take it out of the grease and put it straight in the sauce. The grease, when it's fresh out, it helps it absorb right into the chicken, because it ain't good if it ain't turned up. It's nice and saucy. Your garlic mashed potatoes, topped with cheddar and bacon. You got your fresh cut green beans with your spicy Cains turned up chicken, and nonetheless, Cains lemon pepper Mary Jane wings. I'd like to thank everybody for joining me on my first episode of Cain's Kitchen. And I'd like to say that this is an extraordinary fucking meal. You know what I'm saying? And I hope to see you guys back with us next time. Oh God, the chicken is awesome. Who would have ever thought ganja and chicken would taste so good?